I was supposed to cover a different video today, but I guess I'll be covering that one tomorrow, at least as an edited video. And for now, let's go ahead and take a look at this. This is Amir Odom, who we've covered a handful of times before, getting mad about woke cartoons.
I stand Democrat.
Oh no. See, I feel like we grew up watching cartoons that were just fun. No agenda.
You know, it's weird. I feel like it's okay to show a scene of two girls kissing because we can show scenes of a guy and a girl kissing. I feel like if we're going to really live in the reality where there's no material difference between those things, which is the reality I'd like to live in, then this shouldn't fucking matter, but apparently he's got problems with it.
Or lectures, just creativity and chaos. But sadly, somewhere along the way, that has changed. And now, from Disney to Nickelodeon, even Netflix, kids' shows are being packed with social messaging, LGBTQ storylines.
They always were packed with social messaging. Did you not watch fucking Captain Planet? Did you not watch Static Shock? Did you not watch any fucking show growing up? Do you remember when Sailor Moon had to have fucking end of video, like end of episode lessons so that we could legally air it? Like, we had rules about airing shows that said that they had to have morals to their story, and so we would have to, like, it was illegal to air shows that didn't fucking do that if they were cartoons. This is why G.I. Joe and Transformers and He-Man and all these things had a, like, the characters say moment at the end.
And even identity politics, whether or not the parents asked for it. So how did these cartoons go from storytelling to, like, social engineering? That's exactly what we're going to talk about in this video. We'll be commentating and reacting to a lot of the clips that have surfaced.
By the way, cartoons have always done social engineering. They always have. If your definition of social engineering is trying to motivate kids to have a particular ideology, that is something cartoons have always done since, like, media was made. Discover art, please. I fucking beg of you.
From children's programming over the last, I would say, honestly, like 5 years, which that alone points to a bigger problem we're having with the LGBTQ community at large. But regardless, if you like this kind of content.
What's the problem, though? Is the problem that they're too fucking uppity? Is that the issue? The LGBT community's too uppity? Also, he's about to tell you to subscribe to his channel. Instead, maybe subscribe to my channel. I try to be even-handed, though sometimes I get a little angry instead. But I am going to do what I can to try to make politics and the world around you a little less miserable to be in while still addressing it instead of giving you just pure escapism. If that's something that you value, if that's something you like, then maybe consider subscribing to the channel, maybe letting a couple friends know what I'm doing over here, and with that, let's continue with his video.
Correct response. Like cotton candy clouds floating in a blue sky, Banafi will slide that runway.
Why is it that the gay men in cartoons always got this little, like, floofy little dread action going on? Why can't it just be a regular nigga with a fade? What happened to just, like, a regular black dude?
We do that too. Like, okay, so here's the thing. It's not that something ever happened to them, it's that media has always had a stereotype that let you know that the person is very gay. We've always had that. There are very few shows, and many of them are recent, that have characters who are gay that do not act gay. Like the whole fucking stereotype with the lisp like this. That one right there has been the one that I grew up with. Kidma says the Killmonger hair problem's not just gay characters. Like, it's just a fucking hairstyle. It doesn't matter.
Or a black guy in television. It's always this frolicking man with the little dreads. That just irritates me.
Why do dreads irritate you? Why does that matter?
And then the trans dress.
Why does it matter that there's a trans dress? Why is that a problem? Explain that to me. I just need you to. I need you to take some time to explain that one.
Banafi, tell us why you chose this delicious dress.
As a transberry, I love living out loud as my most authentic self.
In what world does strawberry shortcake need a transberry in the programming? Understand?
The world where they're trying to teach kids that it's okay for people to be different than them. Like, that's what they're doing. Like, yeah, we can make the argument that it's a little ham-fisted, that maybe they could be a little more subtle about it. Maybe they could do it in a way that doesn't seem very like, oh my God, I'm so out and proud. Like, there's ways to do this that would be an improvement, but like, it's little itty bitty kids programming that's going to be acting this boisterous anyway, because little itty bitty kids don't really get subtlety.
It's a children's show. I understand it's all fake to begin with. You got fruit people and whatever. I get it. But to me, there's something nefarious about having a trans berry in a child's cartoon. For what?
Cleric says, they don't always do it like all people. There are qualities that are more or less pronounced than others. Individuals are different. Right. That's the reason I pointed out that it was a stereotype. Like, the stereotype we used in the 90s for the gay character is the voice that I'm using right now. That is the dumb shit that we did for the stereotype then. And we still do aspects of that stereotype now in media, especially long-running media with characters who haven't evolved past what the stereotype they originally were envisioned as are. But we generally use those stereotypes in media a lot.
Reason you got the grown black man frailing around, dipping and diving with the little floofy dreads, and then here comes walking down another.
The cartoon character was boisterous. For some reason, I'm angry and I can't explain it, Vale.
They're like black woman man is trans, like a black trans woman with the I'm a trans berry.
And who cares?
The kids watching this can't even do their damn times table, but you want to introduce them to this trans ideology and being a trans berry. And
are they doing that? Are they really introducing you to the idea of fully transitioning? Are they introducing you to like what a puberty blocker is? Are they introducing you to all of that? Or are they just having a character who is that? That's like somebody saying you're introducing them to the gay ideology, and like you just have a gay character, but you have to, for some reason, insert all of the, well, insertion that can go into some gay relationships as if they are all inherently sexual, any more so than fucking straight relationships are.
And just, it's gonna, like, make me combust. Why? There's just no need to have a trans berry storyline within Strawberry Shortcake. It's the little things like this that just drives people.
There's no need to have anything in Strawberry Shortcake. It's a fucking cartoon. Get over yourself.
People up a wall because it genuinely doesn't make sense and it's not necessary to any of the storylines in a children's show.
It doesn't. Storylines don't matter. It's a children's show. It's a children's show. Sometimes there are going to be storylines. Sometimes they're going to be complete non sequiturs of characters just doing shit. Also, when it comes to media, did you know that introducing people to diverse characters in media, especially cartoons, early, actually, we have studies that show that that makes it less likely that that kid's going to be bigoted towards that group when they get older. Like, we've actually done fucking studies on this shit. It's wild that that's the case. But every single person who says, like, representation doesn't matter also seems to have this really, really, like, virulent reaction to representations they don't like. And then at the same time, they will never actually do any research. They're just gonna vibe post. And I think part of Amir's problem is that he makes too much money doing this. His ideology is locked into the people who are viewing him.
It's all just so insane, much like the modern day razor industry, but thanks to today's sponsor, Henson Shaving, they've cut out all—
Nope. I don't need your fucking shaving shit. I don't need to know if you've manscaped. Not something that I need to worry about. Instead, maybe you could go to the sponsor of my channel. I actually have a couple sponsors here. And you know what? The first one here, I want to go ahead and get out of the way. Give me just a second, because this is the first time I'm going to be mentioning this one, and I have completely forgotten that this is something that I had access to. I'm dumb. I'm very, very dumb, is what I'm saying. Give me a sec. So I want to ask y'all a question. Have any of you been interested in VR at all? So did you know, actually, that I am surprisingly sponsored by Viveverse, a series of games and other things that you can use your HTC Vives for if you have them already for, you know, any type of thing that you are doing in the world of VR. There's an entire platform here over at worlds.viveverse, and they are a sponsor of the channel, and they have a link right here that I just put into the chat. I did not write a pitch for this, so I'm just going off the cuff right now. I am completely fucking this up, but They are actually supporters of the channel, so if you would like, if you want, every single click of that link actually does end up supporting my channel. Clicks, just visiting the site, actually supports the channel. So you know what? There's a link there. Click it if you want. That said, we're going to get back to things. And now that there's enough of a buffer between me and the advertisement so that I don't get in trouble for violating my contract, I need to reread what it was. Let's go ahead and continue with the video.
Know about you. You love to get up.
What I just tell y'all, I always say it's the black man with the little curly fluffy dreads, which I've never really seen in real life, but they always...
It's the Killmonger haircut. It's literally, he was the most popular character in Black Panther. So that's the haircut you're going to see a lot for a little bit. Just happens.
Got the little floofy dreads to make it look more feminine. Why can't we just have two dudes? Like, I'd be cool with just two regular dads. Because to be fair, there are lots of different family dynamics out there, and I do think these different family dynamics deserve to be highlighted.
I'm gonna be honest, any way that they portrayed this, you would have found some way to criticize, because you make money doing so. Man.
There's adopted kids, there's kids raised by their grandparents, there's kids raised by their single mom, single father, step parents, aunties, uncles, two dads, two moms. There's different families out there, and I think if we're seeing that in a more so subtle, like normal capacity, I'm cool with that. But when you add on the stereotypes of like the fluffy dreads, like very feminine acting, it's just weird. You start
That's your only criticism you can have for it then. It's a cartoon that's not even made for you, and you find it weird. Yeah, water's wet and news is on at 4. What?
Start to like program, you know what I mean?
Dance. How about you break out those moves for your two biggest fans?
It's a fucking musical and the guys are singing. That would have been the case whether or not they were fucking pegging each other. Get over yourself.
This is what I mean. This is what...
What the fuck do you mean? What the fuck could you possibly mean? They are people in a musical singing. What could you possibly have as a problem to that?
What makes it look like you're pushing a narrative. This is what makes it look bad.
What narrative? That the men can fucking sing? What narrative? Fucking media literacy is dead for conservatives. I swear to God.
When you had this little boy frolicking around in like a tutu and a princess tier. The little kid already got two gay dads, so it's already like a little spicy. You putting that in the TV show.
How is it spicy to have a regular fucking relationship in a TV show? How is that spicy, dumbass? Also, kids in a tutu. Who gives a shit? I saw fucking Dexter in a tutu in Dexter's Laboratory as a kid. Who the fuck cares? He's a female avatar on the internet. I also play a night elf in World of Warcraft. Bite my ass.
Especially in this current era, but when you add on the layer of, oh, of course, the kid has two gay dads and now the little boy's frolicking around in a little dress. It's
a fucking musical. Everybody frolics around, dummy.
That's not helping anybody. Why can't it just be normal people?
Why does it fucking matter? It's a cartoon.
Can't it just be a regular kid and two dads? Like, why can't it just be the non-stereotypes, you know?
Because it's a fucking cartoon. There's gonna be stereotypes, and there's gonna be people who are portrayed perfectly fucking normally. They're both gonna be there. Who cares?
Why can't it just be normal? What's wrong with that?
There's nothing wrong with normal other than the fact that it doesn't really exist.
Not being normal, you wouldn't see this really with in a cartoon with straight.
I swear to God, it's wild to me that it's the gay black man who's just being like, man, look at the gays in this cartoon. They're so uppity.
Parents, you're pushing this narrative that, oh, if you have two dads, one of the dads is super flamboyant. At that, when they have a kid, it's gonna a male kid. It's gonna be super flamboyant. You're not helping.
How is that what's being communicated? They just happen to have a kid that's like that. Again, who cares?
The cause for anyone. If you want to progress and further the LGBTQ plus community, this ain't it.
If you're not sure what to choose, think about all the things you like to do. Just be you.
Just be me?
Yep. When you're trying to decide, think about all the things you like to do.
Can I just say, what does this guy look like a slightly more masculine Jimmy Snow? Does anybody get that? That's just kind of the vibe that I get from that that look. Maybe it's that he also looks like the fucking dude from what was it? The conservative cartoon that tried to be a really shitty Family Guy. Man, I feel bad for Jimmy.
Just be you.
Even as a gay man, I can clearly see what's happening here. This little boy, the song is talking about just be you, and the little boy turns down, I believe it was like an army outfit and a cop outfit, and he's staring at the princess tiara and the little fluffy, the tutu. That is like subtly pushing a narrative. That is.
What? How? It's just be you. You happen to wear a tutu that day. Again, I watched that shit in Dexter's Laboratory. I watched Samurai Jack wear high heels. I watched Bugs Bunny cross-dress and make out with Elmer Fudd for a prank. Get over yourself. Jesus fucking Christ.
That does not reflect highly on gay individuals, gay parents. This just... when we talk about the trans kids, when we talk about the kids stuff, it's just weird. Why am I making...
Weird is not an argument. Weird doesn't matter. Okay, look. This is like the Leafy is here version of shit, where the biggest argument he ever had against anything was, yo, bros, yo, look at me surfing here on my video game. Yo, look at this. It's so cringe. This guy's so cringe. Look at what they're doing. They're cringe. They're cringe, man. They're cringe. Look, it's cringe. And I'm just like, why? Why does that matter? Why does it matter that something's weird? Why does it matter that it's cringe? It doesn't matter at all. It doesn't mean anything. Someone can be cringe, someone can be weird. If they're not hurting anybody, if they're not hurting themselves, then who the fuck cares? Like, I don't need propaganda for conformity telling me that I'm just not normal enough. I don't have to give a shit. And I've had this conversation with a handful of my friends where, like, okay, weird one. I was at the mall with a couple friends, and I had to pop my back. So I just quickly did the twist back and forth, you know, the blap, whap. And one of my friends just kind of looked at me, he's like, why are you doing that? That looks so weird. Why are you doing that? It's like, I don't fucking care. I had to pop my back. I am relieving pain in my body. It looking weird to random passerbys that I will never meet again ever in my life is not one of the prerogatives I give a flying fuck about. If I am not inconveniencing them or bothering them, and they are not bothering me, then none of this conversation matters. I am popping my back, guy. Yenza says, I hope Trump stubs his toe. I hope so too. I hope so too. Also, yeah, no, that is a thumbnail face. I'm gonna send that to K-Fox. If K-Fox decides that's the thumbnail, then K-Fox has the thumbnail. Make her life easier.
Making this content? Why? Why can't we just let the kids be kids? Why can't we just have normal programming?
Wait, but wait, hold on. But wait. The song was the dude telling the kid to just be themselves. How is that not letting a kid be a kid? That you're literally telling the kid to just be whoever the fuck they are. That's what you're doing. The kid's being a kid. You succeeded. Junie! Thank you for the gifted sub. Also, is this like Junie the apostate? Is it a different name? How's it going? But yeah, no, this just feels weird as shit to me, like as if that's a fucking argument. Because dude's just sitting here going, why can't they just let the kid be a kid when that's literally the fucking point of the song, is to let the kid be themselves.
Like, I'm chill with the two dads, but even then, why do you have to add on the layer of like, oh, it's two dads, let's make one super feminine, and then like let's make it to have the little boy that wants to actually like be like a girl.
Why does it matter? Some men are feminine. Have you ever met Kanye?
What is your purpose? Why? Especially at that in Coco Melon. Let these kids be kids. That was the point of the song, and you apparently missed it. I'm so glad your media literacy is the exact same as your emotional coefficient. Coming from a gay man, I see why people are upset.
I would rather not come from a gay man, personally speaking, but, you know, that's just me.
See the subtle programming. I'm just being real. Like, I see what makes people upset.
My name is Charles. I use they and them for my pronouns. I'm the Ghost Club Artifact Specialist. Also, I love this skateboard.
This shit pisses me off. You got this cartoon with the little it boy girl, I don't know, pushing this non-binary nonsense. Something about my
The kid doesn't have a pronoun preference yet. Or they might never have one. What does that matter? Explain why that's wrong. Explain the harm that is done. Substantiate your argument with something other than it's weird.
Pronouns are they, them. Okay, what's 5 plus 5? This shit is only confusing for
how is it? Okay, look. That shit's only confusing to you because you were not introduced to that shit. I promise you. I promise y'all. 20 years from now, the kids who grow up with this shit are not going to be confused. The kids who grow up with this shit are going to have it so thoroughly normalized to them that they're going to look at you and go, yeah, of course I use they, them pronouns. Fucking boomer? What are you talking about? Of course, at that point, it's going to be millennials that they're... God, millennial doesn't have the same ring. Like, millennial has the ring when you're talking down to them as a boomer, but, like, if you're a millennial... God, it's so weird thinking of somebody who's, like, in a younger generation looking at you like you're out of touch, and the only thing that they have is, okay, millennial? That doesn't fucking work. It doesn't work at all.
Children, and it makes people, it's literally making people homophobic. It's literally making people look at anything as gay as...
It's not making people homophobic. The people who are upset by this were already homophobic, and they're just looking for an excuse. Like, I apologize that you have not actually talked to enough people to get opinions from them to see what the problem is, but quite often people are already homophobic, and then they just end up angrier because you give them a reason, and this is, for some people, the reason.
Bad. Anything remotely gay, they just want it gone and don't want their children associated with it at all, because you can't just be real. There's no need. We need little kids in these elementary schools talking about, I go by they and them, and then getting sad and crying about being called a he or she. Let little Tim Tam and little Jamal go out there, run and play and mind their business. No, but
what if they did? They went out and played. And when somebody's like, hey, Jamal, cool, I am they, them. Okay, neat. I don't give a shit. Want to build a sandcastle? Yeah. That's that conversation for a fucking kid. That's that conversation for a fucking kid. That dude's putting more thought into this than the actual people who made the show. He's building the plot against Americans himself.
you can't do that. Instead, you got TV shows and kids shows talking about my pronouns are they and them. They're kids. Why
is that an adult thing? Explain to me why that's an adult thing. Oh, look, a corpse. Why is that just there? Can I not look at a corpse?
What is this obsession with being so hell-bent on injecting trans ideology, non-binary ideology into...
Because studies have shown that showing characters that have different ideologies or different genders or different races to kids at an early age lowers the chance that they will engage in bigotry. What you're witnessing is an actual example, ham-fisted as it may be, of responsible programming, and you refuse to acknowledge it because you refuse to look at a single fucking study. You're an idiot, and you grift off of other idiots.
Do children's work, because it'd be these same people that's about, well, they're kid, they have the right to themselves and they know who they are. Are you the same person you were when you were 20, 18?
Guess what? Somebody who's they, them today could be a he, her, or a she, whatever tomorrow. It doesn't matter. This shit's gonna change. Also, Tal, thank you for the 510 bits.
16, 12, 8, we all change. So
yeah, and guess what? Do you know which group of people denormalize the idea that others can change? Conservatives, generally speaking, are far less likely to be okay with change or even fucking creativity.
Like, stop pushing this stuff on kids.
Nobody's pushing it. It's not... Okay, so pushing this stuff on kids would be making something where the kid is incentivized to be gay or incentivized to be trans, as opposed to just having a character that is that. Having a character, like, okay, being trans is an immutable characteristic. It is not a thing that somebody can control. Because being trans is not the act of transitioning. It is simply not being the gender that you were assigned at birth. That's literally all it is. So, if we view that as an immutable characteristic, then simply having a character with an immutable characteristic does not incentivize people. It does not push them to be that thing. Otherwise, growing up watching Static Shock would have incentivized me to be black. Growing up with Jon Stewart being my favorite of all of the Green Lanterns would have incentivized me to be black. But it didn't, because that immutable characteristic didn't fucking apply to me. I see trans people all the time, and I even use a female avatar on MMORPGs, on most video games I play, and while streaming. Guess what? I have not once been incentivized, except by weird fucking fetish porn from y'all guys. I have never once been incentivized to be trans. I'm still as straight and cis today as I was when I made my channel fucking 8 years ago. exposure to a thing is not incentivization or pushing. There has to be more mechanically involved in that.
Thinking about it honestly, I think what irritates me the most about all of this is that we see, and when I say we, I'm really talking about like late Gen Z, millennials and up. We know what life is like when you just say he and she. We know what kind of cartoons we were watching growing up. And this stuff is just weird. Even to some gay people out there, even to me, it is just weird.
You're right. It is. It's weird to me too. But guess what? Weird isn't an argument. Weird is an argument from emotion. It is feels over reals. I feel weirded out by it too. I promise you. It seems strange to me. It seems alien to me. But so is damn near every show I could possibly watch right now that was made for not me. If I sit down and watch Paw Patrol for more than 10 fucking seconds, I start to get queasy because I can't stand that shit at all. None of it is appealing to me. Now, granted, some of it's because it's propaganda, but mostly it's because I don't fucking care for what the show is. It's just a 3D animated kids slop show. It's a thing that kids will grow up with, maybe be mildly nostalgic towards when they grow up, but overall, they're going to forget it by the time they're age 9 or 10 and move on to stories that have more complexity. It's what I did with Barney. When I was a kid, I held on to a fascination with Barney for as long as I possibly could. And as an adult, I couldn't tell you one fucking thing about it other than there were the stories of the guy who was hiding cocaine in the tail of the suit. That's all I can remember now. That's all I can remember now. But I was fascinated with that show as a kid. I had a bunch of VHS tapes. I had a Christmas special. I loved that shit. But after I was like 8, 9, I couldn't remember damn near anything about it. And that's how kids are going to be with this as well. There may be a little bit of influence from them. It's definitely going to have a subconscious influence on what they see as normal and what they're normalized to. And that's perfectly fine. Studies have shown that's actually beneficial. But in terms of the broad swaths of things, they're going to end up forgetting this shit. They're going to end up older, watching other cartoons, and it's going to be a different world for them. But those other cartoons they're going to watch might end up having similar messaging that reinforces this. And that's also fine. The generation right before me grew up with Steven Universe. And I watched Steven Universe all the way through. I thought it was a fascinating show. It had its ups, it had its downs, but as a space opera that talked basically at length about the experiences of being polyamorous, the experiences of being non-binary, the experience of being a lesbian. A lot of those experiences are talked about sometimes hand-fistedly, sometimes incredibly subtly in Steven Universe. And I bet you, you're not going to find a real adult who grew up watching that show who's going to be like, yeah, I was corrupted by the fucking gay rock gene. You're not going to fucking find that shit. You're not going to find that shit. This is exhausting, Amir. I do not find your content engaging. I find it exhausting. Not because I disagree with it as much as I do, but because you fail to bring anything to the table with any of your points. Your biggest argument is that something is strange, or weird, or that you don't understand it. And I'm here to let you know right now, a lack of understanding, a feeling like something is weird, that's just emotional bitch pilling. That doesn't actually mean anything. It's not grounded in anything. It's feels over reals in the most caustic way possible. And that's about all I can stomach from this. Not just because I have a link from Vice Rhino and I need to go and be part of that stream, but also because I didn't pick the right pause frame for his face. But this one will work. This one will work. At least for now. Let me know what you guys think in the comments section below. Hit the like button if you haven't already. Subscribe if you haven't already. Hey, maybe even join the Patreon before the new year's over, though by the time this video comes out, it will already be the new year. So this message is exclusively to everybody who's here on the stream. See you all next year, probably. Maybe. Hey, you made it to the end. I want to give an extra thanks to the patrons who allow me to do this full time. I want to thank Aaron Rail, Astral, Britzkrieg, Jemshin, Poundini, Red Joker, Victoria, Jonas, Craig, Tarika, Fireshard, Smiling GM, John, Dren Hadamada, Creeper, Sagitta, you know I'm not saying that last part, Valis of Seraph, Ottoman Angel, Rooster Rachel, and Fire Panda, who are all my $20 and up patrons.